This is Hollywood. I was landed on Mars, dog.
It's your boy Nesto, always coming with that best flow. Might not see me around because I'm always getting dough, chasing mo. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Landon on Mars podcast. I am your host, Nesto, of course. And today, I got a repeat offender. Not in the bad way, not in the bad way.
No Diddy.
You dig, no Diddy. Today I got my nephew. I got my nephew Hollyweld with me. I got my nephew Hollywood, you dig? How you doing today, nephew?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Earlier, I was downstairs and your mom was like, okay, so what y'all gonna talk about? So, I wanted to, the last time when we had a conversation, you kind of told me what got you into the position that you were in and what you're doing right now. I want to kind of take it back.
Yeah.
You do come from a military background.
Yep.
From when you could remember, how was it being in the military coming from your point of view?
I mean, I think growing up as because we have home videos. My mom used to record. My dad was in Kuwait at the time. This was after 9/11 and stuff, so things were intense and stuff over here. So he was overseas in Kuwait a lot when I was growing up as a little kid. And so she used to record little cassette tapes to send overseas, so he would watch it. And Christmas time, we'll watch it every year and stuff. And looking back at it, it's like me and my sister growing up, and we're completely blinded to the fact what's going on. We just think Dad's at work and stuff. He's gone for a long time. So looking back at it, it's it's sad. He missed a lot. But I don't ever hold it to him. I don't ever bring it. It's one of those things where he had to provide for a family. I mean, look what he's done and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it definitely has its good side and its bad side. I think the bad side was obviously he missed my high school graduation, missed birthdays, Christmases, Thanksgivings, you name it, he missed it. And again, it's not his fault. He had a job to do. He had to provide for the family.
I totally get that.
And,
I totally get it.
I think the good part of it was though just a change of scenery every few years, every so often. I think getting accustomed to different cultures and knowing how to talk to certain people and certain crowds and stuff.
So whenever you were so you're in a new city, you're in a new place, you're in a new school.
Yeah. How did
this take a toll with your school? Because me coming from where I come from, my best friend Onofre, you know him. He's that was a best friend. I was able to have a best friend. Were you able to do that?
It's funny because I still have people on my Instagram, Snapchat that I had since San Diego, which is 8 years ago. You know what I mean?
Nice. Okay.
So I mean, I think that was also a good thing too. Is just getting along with people easily. I feel like if any job that I start, I'm always able to get along with people easily, and I think that I picked that up from the military, from moving around and going to different school. All right, well, I got to make new friends somehow. You know what I mean? So I think doing that, knowing how to talk to people and getting along with people, I think that I picked up from being a military child and stuff.
So what cultures did you see when you were growing up? What cultures that you were okay, I never knew this culture, but now
it was I don't even know how to answer that question because it's just there's not really a specific answer. It's just you just know, you know what I mean? I don't know how to there really isn't an answer. It's just you got to be in that situation.
Nah, I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you in that because there's times where you might not recognize it, but then you're oh, this is comes from a different culture.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's when you embrace it. So now I get you in that. And as far as when you were in school, did moving around ever get the best of you as far as in school wise?
Oh yeah, they
how was your school?
I actually got held back because of it. Yeah, because I think it was New Orleans. I think I started early, or I think it was late. I think I started later. I don't know. I can't remember. It was one of the two. And that then and there that set me back. So I think when I got to Jacksonville, it's funny because looking back at it, the year COVID happened, I was supposed to graduate that year, 2020. when COVID was happening and everyone was like graduating, like they didn't have a proper graduation and stuff. That's when I was supposed to graduate, but I got held back when we moved to Jacksonville.
So you graduated in 2021?
Yeah.
Oh wow, so you're like fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Yeah. I don't know. I guess like I'm your uncle, so I know y'all's age, but then when I'm like reminded of y'all's age, I'm like, damn, like they're like really young. Like I see Dom doing things and I forget that he's still
he's young and stuff.
Yeah, like y'all like what? So you're 20. How old are you right
22.
now? So you're 22. He's 22.
I think he's 21. He turns 22 this year.
Man, it's just like me and your cousin, like me and my cousin John, like me and your cousin Johnny. Like he was always a year older than me. But yeah, so what like out of all the places that you've been through, like out of all the places, all the places you went, which one was like your favorite spot to live in?
Jacksonville.
You were in Jacksonville for a while.
Yeah.
And I know your parents had left Jacksonville. You stayed.
Yeah.
I was worried about you.
Really?
I was.
I was worried about myself too. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna keep it real, dude.
because out of nowhere, Jacksonville became a dangerous zone.
Yeah.
And it was like
I've
never been a part of it, but I've heard the beef. Like I'm gonna respect the person because I respect all parties. RP Julio Fulio.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about that beef when you were in Jacksonville? Like how? Okay, because it's one thing.
I was living with my parents when that happened.
It's one thing to be a spectator and listen to it from the outside, but when you're living in the city, was the city weird, or how was the city when that was going on? From your perspective,
I think again, it's one of the, you just gotta mind your business. I think it all comes down to just, and I forgot who I was telling this. I think I was telling my homie Quindell, because that was the only friend I had in Jacksonville when I was living there. I think it all just comes down to just like minding your business, because like you won't know about it unless you like stick your neck out and stuff about it. But to answer your question, I always stayed to myself. I wasn't really out there. I was just working back inside. I didn't go to those parts of the neighborhood, at night. I stayed inside, had my own little routine and stuff. So I wasn't involved in all that stuff.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. Because like I said, like him and Young and Ace, they've been beefing for a very long time, and like it's crazy to think about like how the city can be affected with that. You know what I mean? Like you say, like if you stick your neck out and if you involve yourself with something, you might not get the same response.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Where the response is
just keep your head low.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And a lot, and that's the thing about it. It's not even, like you said, it's not even about being involved. It's about the innocent bystanders around that. You know what I mean? Because when they're beefing, they're aiming at somebody, but ultimately they're not hitting their target. They're not on point. You know what I mean? Like, so innocent bystanders get hit, and that's what I think. I'm like, man, like it's one thing to come from San Antonio, but you're not from Jacksonville. You know what I mean? When you're born and raised somewhere, you get a different feel. You know what I mean? And like ultimately, you've been traveling from here to there, so like you're a spectator. You know what I mean? You're a visitor.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, man, like I would always say a prayer for you, and I always pray for my nieces and my nephews, my family, because ultimately, man, like you could be just minding your own business, and minding your own business can involve you in something that you never got, you never wanted to be in.
Like looking back at it, I don't even know how I survived there, man. Because like there'll be some nights, man, where it's just like I'm just there and I'm like, dude, like my mom and dad aren't here, they're in Denver. I got no family, like nowhere nearby. It's like I'm just sitting there. I'm like, dude, like this is crazy. Like I'm in my own little world almost. You know what I mean? And like it was. I'm eventually like I love Jacksonville because that's why I feel like I became a young man. You know what I mean? And if if I didn't live on my own there, I don't think I'd be who I am today. You know what I mean? I think I would be a little less responsible, a little less immature. But I feel like I grew up there a lot. I feel like that's where I became a young man, and that's where I grew up.
So out of all the places, that's your favorite spot?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what about how was your experience in New Orleans? Do you remember that?
I just remember the bad weather.
Yeah,
the bad weather and the good food, man. That's all I remember.
And you met Lil Wayne.
Yeah, I met Lil Wayne. I met Lil Wayne.
Okay, so since we're on this topic, we're on my pod. I just did a recent podcast.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of go in depth about this, but real quick, how do you feel about Kendrick getting the Super Bowl spot?
I think you gotta strike where the iron's hot, and I think coming off that Drake beef and all that, and not like us, I think they made the right decision.
So you don't think it offended Wayne, or you don't?
I mean, I think it's gonna offend him because that's where he's from. That's where it's his hometown. But you gotta look at it. One, he said he'd never perform in New Orleans ever again, after because he had a concert one time and fans were throwing stuff at him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he was like, after that he was like, I'm not performing here ever again. And
okay.
And then two, I don't know if you there was WrestleMania in Philadelphia. He performed a Millie for one of the wrestlers coming out, and he couldn't even perform. Like he was like he couldn't even like carry it to him.
Yeah, and you know what's funny?
And it's like I understand like he wants to perform for his city, but at the same time, one, you said you never perform there again. You can't pick and choose your battles like that. And then two, you can't even perform a full song.
Nah, and it's funny that you say that because I saw people bringing that clip back up, and someone was like, "Well, that's just WrestleMania. That's just wrestling." But what people don't understand is that WrestleMania is WWE Super Bowl.
Exactly.
So it's like you can't just because it's not NFL. That's their Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Like the NFL has a Super Bowl. WWE, they have WrestleMania.
That's like the NBA finals.
That's their main stuff. So you can't disrespect that. You know what I mean? So I kind of felt like it was like, come on, man, like you can't disrespect WWE like that. Like everybody's like, dude. That's a moneymaker, and I feel like when it comes down to it, these commercial slots, they're so expensive. They're about $5 million for 30 seconds or whatever the situation is. So. Not saying Wayne is not going to bring in money, but right now, like you said, you got to strike where it's hot. And you know what I mean? And Kendrick is bringing those funds in, regardless of what you want to say. Yeah. Kendrick is the money maker right now.
And plus, he deserves. I mean, he deserves it, man. He
had a crazy year.
He's one of the best rappers right now, in my opinion.
So were you are you on the Drake side or were you on the Kendrick side?
I'm Kendrick side.
You Kendrick side?
I think the more so, I think where Kendrick's coming, this is just my opinion from what I observed, I think the whole thing, like Drake was like on the grassy and stuff. He was like he didn't live that thug life. He didn't grow up in Compton like Kendrick did and all the other rappers did. So I think it's more so like don't act like you came up from the mud when you were on a TV show while Kendrick was scratching and clawing his way up. You know what I mean?
It's funny because it says when Kendrick says, I like Drake with the melodies.
Exactly.
I don't like Drake when he acts
that's
tough.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
And it was like, you know what, Kendrick? Because if you listen to that side of Drake, he's an awesome artist.
That's what I'm saying. But when he tries to act like he's, when he's
talking about getting you hit, getting you clipped, it's like.
You're not like
you
that,
like
dog.
like you know what I mean. You might have the money to do it, but ultimately
that's not who you are.
Like you got to pay for it. Kendrick is on the side where like, and a lot of people will kind of down Kendrick and be like, oh well, he's not from the hood, like, or he wasn't affiliated. But like even when you come from the hood, you're affiliated just by association.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's the
just
way it was.
Being there,
that's the way it was for me. Everybody that hated Cousin Johnny hated me.
Yeah.
And everybody that hated me, he hated them. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, nah, like you're not gonna hate my cousin and get away with it. You know what I mean? Pretty much. So I totally get it. Like you don't even have to be involved, but you're involved. You know what I mean? So I get it when Kendrick when he said that, to me, I felt like that was like a bit that's like that's like a big slap in the face because it's true. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like so. Yeah, man, you know, and a lot of people, they do gravitate towards Drake. And I think with Kendrick, you gotta have that open mind. And ultimately, as
like, stay true to who you are, don't change and stuff.
I think, like, ultimately, as fans, we get so much new music that we don't have the chance to embrace what's coming out. So ultimately, it's like when you have that artist, oh, it's a complicated artist. Oh, you gotta deep thought, like, yeah, man, because music can help you get through things. Like, the music that's helping you get through things is not the music that you're hearing every day. It's that music that you got to sit back, listen to the lyrics, listen to the meaning of it. That's what's helping you get through whatever you're going through. You know what I mean? That's how music is good for therapy. Music is good to help people get out of situations they're in. It's very universal. And
it's like writing music and stuff.
Yeah, man. So it's So I get it, but yeah, man, a lot of people that I know, they were Drake and they still are Drake, and like on my previous episode, I said, like, I'm always gonna give Drake his props, but that's not for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But at one time, I was a Drake fan. You know what I mean? So
I think Kendrick properly exposed him.
yeah, that's ultimately what it was. And like I said, Drake wasn't mentally ready for this.
Yeah,
He thought it was gonna be a walk in the park, and Kendrick showed him like, nah, man, you're not gonna walk this.
No,
no, nah, man.
Even in the Super Bowl ad, he said like a little comment like digging at Drake and stuff.
Oh yeah, I was like, you don't get second.
Yeah, one and done or something. Like, damn, dude. So he's still digging at Drake.
So with you being here,
yeah,
you went to, let's name the spots you went through real quick. Where, as far as you can remember, where you were in Corpus.
I was born in Corpus. Then I moved to Jacksonville. Then New Orleans. Then San Diego, California, and then we moved back to Jacksonville. And then they moved. My parents moved to Colorado. I stayed behind in Jacksonville, established myself, built my career, and then they moved to Texas, and then I moved here to Texas.
So, about 5 different cities in 21 years.
Yeah.
So about maybe you were in Jacksonville the longest.
Yeah.
The first time, what?
The first time was like what, 2-3 years, I want to say. It wasn't long because like the military, like you'll stay there for like every like 3-4 years max and stuff. Like the longest we stayed in somewhere just excluding Jacksonville was like 3 or 4 years and stuff. I think we stayed in San Diego the longest. New Orleans was the shortest, I think. But
and then the last time in Jacksonville was the longest.
Yeah, it was the longest for me.
Man, so now you're in Texas. Now you're in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Shout out to San Antonio.
Hell yeah.
How does it feel to be like, or does it even feel like, you know what, this is my forever home?
You know, and that's what's weird about it. And I was driving yesterday because I went to North Star Mall. I was bored. I just because that's what I did in Jackson. When I was bored, I just go to the mall, walk around and stuff, go to stores and then leave and stuff. But I was driving home and it's just like for me, I'm so used to stuff not like going to plan, like having a plan and something like life happens and it just doesn't go. It's shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't go your way.
Yeah. So like I told myself I was in South Carolina for 3 months, for work, and I just told myself like when I get back, my lease expires. I'm going to Texas and stuff, and yeah, so like to be here like with family, like there's some like now it's starting to settle like this is it, like this is where I'm at, but there were some days where it just like doesn't feel real because I'm just not used to stuff working out.
Yeah.
So like to be here, like I'm happy, I'm blessed, you know, I'm glad everything, you know, has worked out in the way it has and stuff.
So when you say things don't work out, are you familiar with that? Where like you have a plan and things don't work out for you?
Yeah, it's just I can't really name specifics. It's just like, you know, like you plan out the day and something happens, or you know, like for instance, like my Acura, like when it crashed out on me and I had to get a new car. Like you just like life happens. Like you just don't plan for that type of stuff. It just life happens. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I hear you. And like me, you know, I'm pretty sure your dad tells you all the time the type of lifestyle we had. It's one of those things that you're so used to failure, or you're used to being let down, that you kind of prepare yourself for the let down.
Yeah, exactly. And so when it happens, you're just
so when things do go the opposite way as far as going good, you sit back and you're like, is this supposed to happen? You know what I mean? Like you're just thinking like, is this supposed to happen? But man, what I've learned is you just gotta embrace that feeling, because when things don't go your way, they're not gonna go your way. But when things are going your way and they don't feel right, it's just like, and it's that, like I said, it's that weird feeling, but you just gotta just embrace that feeling, because if you're always looking for the letdown, like I said, I'm telling you from my personal experience, like when you're always looking for the letdown's gonna happen whether you want it or not. And you know what I mean? Like you gotta be able to pat yourself on the back, and if you're not gonna pat yourself on the back, I'm gonna pat you on the back and tell you like, keep doing your thing, man. Like don't let anybody get the best of you. And I like that we're doing this because, of course, we got some things to attend to, but I like this because every time I talk to you, I see your growth. Yeah, I see the maturity. I see the way you talk. I see the way you sit. I see what you're doing, and I'm very proud of that. You know what I mean? Because
thank you.
before, it's hard, and not necessarily that it's hard. Pause, but
No Diddy.
it's no Diddy, you dig it, but when you're not in the same city, it's hard to show someone you care. You know what I mean? Because usually it's the phone, it's text message, but when you're here physically and you could see them, you could give them that pat. You know, give them flowers, and that's what I feel like I could do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because even at that back in the day, man, like, and like it's funny because I think I was telling your dad, like, y'all when everybody like when they're moving back, everything is at the point where like my life is not hard. Theo and Thea's life are not hard. Everybody's at that.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point
plateau,
where it's like, we're like everything's going.
Yeah, good.
Like everything's just rolling.
And now it's our turn.
Yeah, now it's
Dominic's and Vanessa.
Yeah, so now it's like all of us coming together, like all the family being together. Like the only one we are missing is Vanessa. You know what I mean? Like
she's doing her, and that's another thing too.
Yeah,
she's doing her own thing. I'm proud of her. She's kicking ass right now in New Orleans and shit.
And that's what it's about. Like when I moved to San Marcos, I don't think anybody was prepared for it. Yeah, and I don't even think anybody was like, oh, he's gonna be out there for too long. But at the end of the day, it was me making a choice and saying, hey, I'm gonna better myself. Hey, I had nothing here. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I have my family, but
and that's how it was for me in Jacksonville. It's like I'm getting all this paycheck, this money and stuff, but it's like for what? Like to pay rent, and that's it. And like there was nothing like essentially. Like, yes, I love Jacksonville because I was comfortable and I knew everything. I knew people and stuff. But at the end of the day, it was just like, there's nothing for me here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no family. Like, wasn't in a relationship. There was nothing tying me down. So it's like, I'm just going to pack my stuff and leave.
When I left San Antonio, it was more so like, I felt like I was more of a burden. So it was like for me not to be a burden to anybody, just let me eliminate myself from, you know what I mean? But me doing that really put me on the path of really growing up. You know what I mean? Because if...
It kind of forces you, like,
because if I wasn't standing on by myself, I had no one else standing with me, and I had no one else picking me up. So it was like, it worked for me, and like, that's why I'm still where I'm at, because it works for me. You know what I mean? Like, I always think about coming back to San Antonio. There's times where I'm like, man, I overstayed my welcome. But who's to say when I come? Like, if I would have came back earlier, I would have gotten the same stuff I was in before. You know what I mean? Because San Antonio. One thing about San Antonio is temptation is everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, even when you're not looking for it, temptation is there, and they'll creep up on you at the least time you expect it. You know what I mean? So it's always good to have that mind, that positive mindset, and that positive, you know what I mean? When you're going straight, you have them goals, man. Like I say, every day there's something going on. Every day there's something bad going on, whether it's overseas, whether it's there's shootings. Like now there's been multiple shootings, and it's just like, damn, man. Like I always think about it. I want to tell you, Thea, like maybe we should get a gun. Like maybe not.
I got a shotgun.
Like not to the point where we're waving it around. But,
but just to have it, you know. What I mean?
Because I've been seeing.
Like me, I keep it on my bedside and stuff. My shot, I don't ever bring it out and sell. I just keep it in my room.
I've seen people get robbed while they're eating, and it's just like,
it's crazy.
Personally, I've never seen it in real life, but as far as you see these videos, and it's like, damn, like everybody's strapped nowadays, and it's not like
even little kids are strapped.
Yeah, man. So it's one of those things, like it's scary, you know what I mean? Like it's scary. It's one of those things, like you want to, like, you go to a place and you just want to make sure you have fun and stuff. Yeah, you want to get there, you want to get
Texas,
out.
Man.
Yeah, and like
it's like a Wild West out here,
being in Texas, everybody does have guns.
Everyone
and
keeps it on.
Things of that nature, but I really appreciate it, nephew. Thank you for sitting down with me. This is part 1. We are going to be doing a part 2, and this is where you're going to probably find us. I'm going to get a little bit more information and have some more questions for you. But like I said, man, I love dipping into your mindset. I love talking to you. I love having a conversation with you. And shit, I just look forward to having some more conversations.
Hell yeah, man.
And I'm going to be if no one else did it, I'm going to officially welcome you to San Antonio.
I appreciate it, man.
Welcome to San Antonio from your uncle,
Hell yeah,
Nesto. You dig?
Yeah, so I'm talking
about. I got to roll out the red carpet. Got to welcome him to the say. You
Hollywood.
dig?
Hollywood.
2-0 Countdown City. We holding it down.
Hell yeah.
And like you said, his name is Hollywood. You want to give out your social medias or anything like that?
My Instagram's Hollyweld. Hollyweld, not the
Hollyweld.
wood. Forget the wood. It's all about the well.
You dig?
That's it, man. That's
You
it.
dig? If y'all get a chance, y'all go follow him. This is Landon on Mars. I am your host, Nesto. And y'all have a wonderful Go Cowboys Go. Hope all the other teams, hope Eagles
Hey, I want
lose.
to clear the air on this. I'm
Yeah.
wearing a Seahawks hoodie.
He-
I'm not a Seahawks fan. I had to flex this out real quick.
He had to say that because I already gave him some mess about wearing that. I said, "Are you sure you want to wear that?" Because
I'm not a
the
Seahawks fan.
the fans might not be, they might see double standards
I'm
right
not a
there. You
Seahawks
dig?
fan. I'm a
But
Cowboys.
I
True
really
blue.
appreciate y'all. It's today's Sunday, so y'all go watch y'all's football games. Y'all go kiss y'all's moms, kiss y'all's wives, and y'all kiss y'all's kids as well, man.
But don't kiss your brother. No Diddy.
Yeah, don't. He said it, not me. You dig? Y'all.